All right, welcome to another episode of Working Class Rich. Hey, listen, this is the platform, man, where we deal with middle class insecurity, a word that most of you out there never put together because you didn't realize we as working class people are insecure. You know, there is a serious pandemic, a epidemic going around of middle class people not knowing your place in society. You always feel on the defense all the time. Everything that happens in politics or in the world or in the stock market, we immediately go into this frenzy because insecurity is really high in the middle class. But today we're going to start talking about the bare bones things. We're talking about leadership. Leadership. Not just leadership in terms of what the world sees, but leadership going back to what made middle class strong was leadership stemming from the family, from the household. What are some keys for you to be strong coming from your household? When the household, middle class household is strong, we can approach the problems of the world from a power position, offense, versus from a surprise, gut punched, stick and move position, victim, that many of us feel right now when we look at the price of many things. So I want to get back to that bare bones things and have this type of conversation because everybody is talking around simple subjects. They think it's just, get the money tight, and your life is going to come up. Money is important, but that's not the only key. Okay, man, get your health together, and all of this stuff. Yeah, that is a key, but that's not the end of the subject. It's more to that. What we want to do is start to track and unpack down, get close to the root as we possibly can, because it takes a strong stance for you to throw a powerful punch. So we're getting 5 keys to becoming a better leader in your family, whether you're the mom, you're the dad, whether you're the brother, you're the sister. When you understand how your part of leadership works in the household, we can defend ourselves better when the lies of the world tries to creep in. All right. The first key, I'm going to put it here. The first key is we got to lead by example. Lead by example. If you look on social media, there's a lot of people with a lot of this. Oh, they could talk a big game. Oh, they can sell you the farm, baby. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they can sell water to Eskimos or ice to Eskimos. I mean, they can really give you the lip service. But later on, you'll see other videos saying this person is exposed, that person is exposed, and they will give countless evidence of this person that was talking all of this hype, but then have the root to back up what he was talking about. See, people can give good lip service, but leading by example is demonstrating the values you want to instill. Demonstrating the values you want to instill. Most people, especially schools are really big on this, that they believe that the middle class, we always need a lecture. We need a lecture. We need somebody, from that educational sector, to come in and give us the facts. We want to know the facts because they think that somehow working class people need to be set down and given a ton of useless information that you can't really use in the present moment. This is what they think. So they send a lot of statistics and facts and analysts and all of this stuff and put them in front of our face and say, listen to them because they're the experts. But it's interesting. Listen, it's interesting. And I know I'm coming in hot, but this is how we get to know each other. It's interesting. The people who are educating us are not the people, many times with the lifestyle or the money that you want. You got several PhDs, but my occupation as a truck driver, I could be making more money than you, and I don't even have your education. I'm not disrespecting. I'm just saying that I think we're putting the cart before the horse. What makes leadership good in terms of your home, personal home, my personal home, is somebody in the home, the authority figures in the home, leads by example. Don't sit your kid down all the time and just fire in a lecture, tell them 500 times, pick up your socks, clean up your room. Lead by example. Lead by example. When they see that your bed is made, that your room as the parents is picked up, it emphasizes to them the importance of what you're saying. But you would have parents who are more, is that right? I'm just going to go with it, more messy than the kids. You're telling the kids to be something that you yourself is not. You're not demonstrating that. You're not demonstrating that. And this is a singular key that puts middle class people in a position to be scammed, to be manipulated, to be handled, all of this type of things, because when you don't have a strong leader in the home, the world will send you one. They will send you one. They will send you one in the form of network marketing. They will send you one as a get rich quick. They will send you one as when it comes to men, you send all these tough guys, alpha. They will send those guys because those guys feel like it's their job to train you on how to be a man, how to be their version of a man, which is a joke, man, which is a joke. Anybody can talk tough until the real fight show up. Have you ever heard how, I'm just veering off a little bit. Have you ever heard a person who is a real Marine or been in real combat? You hear how they talk? See, they know what it is to be in the real fight. Have you heard MMA? It's like they know what it is to be in a real fight. But a lot of these guys that's trying to push an image do a whole lot of this. And it's like, okay, show me the tapes where you actually squabbled, show me the tape where you put fist to face, show me those, before you start running up talking about all this alpha male stuff, man, get out of here, Never let someone be the primary leader, example of a leader for your home other than you or your spouse. Never let somebody outside your home be the primary leader. No, they can be the secondary leader. They can be the footnotes to the story, but you are not the headlines. You are not the headlines, and you are definitely not the subtext. You are not. You are the footnotes. To find you, they got to go to a reference page to find you because we already got good content. You understand what I'm saying? You got to lead by example. Most of the anxiety that youth have in this generation comes from the fact that they didn't see enough examples, close examples. Because when you find kids that had close examples, they don't have the anxiety. They don't have that because they seen mom do it. They seen dad do it. They seen it work out with their own two eyes. And I find that demonstration has a lasting effect than conversation. All right. I ain't trying to be smart. That just came out in the video. Number 2, you got to communicate effectively. You got to communicate effectively. Man, I tell you, as a working class person, the hardest things that I've had to face in my life was misunderstandings. I faced a lot of misunderstandings because I didn't know how to communicate effectively. Communicating effectively is understanding when to be logical and when to be emotional. Okay? And those two things can happen literally in the same sentence, but you got to learn how to be logical and then how to be emotional. When men, let me deal with that, because as a man, when we're trying to go after something that's in our heart, many times we come at it from an emotional place. We're talking about how exciting it is, how much money we're going to make. Man, we're going to beat her. We're going to be the next big this. That's the way we talk. We talk out of emotion. But when it comes to taking a family from here to there, they need logic. How is this going to affect our bills? Do you got to quit your job? Do you got to work another shift? How much equipment do you got to buy? Is it going to be an extra expense? Is it going to take away from the income we need to run the home? How long will you have to do it before you turn You got to communicate effectively. Effectively. See, it's funny how most of us as working class people never realize you're in business school without realizing that you're in business school. We sit and we look at a distance and we admire all of these people that's doing what you call big business. But we've been doing small business since you got an apartment, since you got a house. You've been doing small business all along. You've been doing the same thing a regular business person is doing, but they're doing it under the umbrella of a business, and you're doing it under the umbrella of a home owner or renter, right? You go to any business, I don't care how big it is, they have a lease payment. They still got to pay for electrical. They still got to pay for water. They still got to get permits. They still got a whole lot of things that's a ongoing payment process, the same that you have. You have to pay for this. You have to pay for this. It's an ongoing thing. But we don't understand that many things that you're going after, you're already getting the training for it right now. Right now. You got to communicate effectively. I seen a stat one day that said that the biggest problem in marriages is money. It's like, no, that ain't the biggest problem. That ain't the biggest problem. The biggest problem is the communication. The communication. When that husband was trying to go after something, and if he don't explain it to his wife right, the spouse don't know how to support you. So because she didn't know how to support you, or she said something wrong where you felt like this person don't believe me, or it can be vice versa. The wife is trying to pursue something and the husband don't understand why the wife wants to pursue that. So he pulls back his support. And now she's going forward feeling like we are separate. We are divided. Why? Because neither one of them communicated effectively. If the other person really knew that what you were going after, it meant something to you, and the only thing you wanted from them is for them just to support you to the end of the matter. Support me long enough to see if this is something. All right? But many times, that communication don't happen. And then one person say, oh man, it's because of money. No. It's because the communication that you're sharing between one another don't produce agreement. How can two walk together unless they agree? So the problem is not money. The problem is communication. The problem is communication. When it comes to your kids, the problem is communication. Getting your point across to a person, not for them just to see your point, but to give them the type of words where they can take the wisdom, spit out the nonsense, go on with their life, and improve day by day. That's a good communication formula. But what most parents do, you just want to prove the point. You just want this person to make up the bed. Okay, so after he make up the bed, okay, so tomorrow, because he still don't understand why you're making a big deal out of it, when you see the bed messy again, now you're rehashing, you're repeating the exact same thing that you repeated yesterday because you didn't communicate it in a way that helps him understand that you're not just teaching him something that's just, a one-off. You're teaching him skills that he needs to know and learn and he can take with him for the rest of his life, right? Communicate effectively. Number 3, encourage teamwork. Encourage teamwork. I cringe a lot of times when I'm watching social media and you hear the testimonies of people, man, how they talk like they just pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, man. Nobody didn't help me. I went to 24 banks. Nobody didn't give me money. Okay, well, you pointing out the banks that didn't give you money and not emphasizing who did give you money. Who did, because you wouldn't be here unless somebody got on your team, period. But you would talk as if you're stronger than what you really are, and you're not. I don't care what superstar it is. You could pick any of them. All of them have blind spots, just like you and I do. That's why you need teamwork. The blessing I have in my wife is that my wife is made up different than me, not just physiologically. I messed that word all up, but anyway, not just on the physical, but the way that she thinks, the way that she approaches problems, the way that her personality resonates, totally different from mine. Totally different. And because her personality is different, she can see my blind spots the same as I can see her blind spots. But if I'm thinking as a man, this very chauvinistic kind of thinking, it's my job to pick my whole family up on my shoulders, man, that's me. It's like, no, dude, what about the times that you may run out of strength? What about the times that you feel lonely and you need somebody there? You're going to need somebody who can see your blind spots, meaning that as a man, I don't use all of my strength to achieve a goal. If my wife's capabilities and gifts would get us there faster, I jump on her gift. What in the world would I use all of my strength just to prove what? We're trying to get a result, not trying to make one person look good, right? But this is the things, the basic things that when people leave their home and they go into the world, because you are already imbalanced, the thief come right in. The thief come right in, give you bad advice. The thief come right in, give you bad triggers. It'll point out something in politics, something in the world, something with the gas prices, something with grocery. Oh man, this right here. It's like the world will come in and trigger you because you're already unbalanced. You're already hanging on one leg. You're already there. Because you don't understand the fundamental basics of teamwork. We emphasize Michael Jordan, but don't realize he had several other teammates that probably wasn't on his skill level. But I guarantee you, without them, not just Scottie Pippen, without them, be a totally different story. Totally different story. Because Michael Jordan understood what it is to have a team. Do you understand that? Do you get that premise? Do you get that point? Do you get it? Do you understand that if you and your spouse got together and had these kids have seeds of your mentality and your wife's mentality. You got to understand that they may look like they're doing young people silly, stupid things, but there are some genius in there. Your job, my job as a father, is to point out more of the genius things that they're doing versus the mess ups that they're doing. Because the reason why I point out the genius that they're doing, because it's when a person feels like they're capable, that that feeling of capability invites them to be on the family team. If dad comes in the room and casts a shadow on everybody, you're under dad's shadow, which most men, there are some men out there that's like that, man. It's a gross example of what a man is. It's like, no, dude, what you casting a shadow for? The sun needs to shine on everything that the sun needs to shine on. And if you are casting a shadow, that means you taking all the sunshine and you're so selfish, you're not even letting the sun shine on your family, dude. You know what I'm saying? I don't subscribe to that, man. I don't subscribe to that, dude. I think it is a poor example of a man's leadership in the home. And most men take that path, you know what I'm saying? And if you have, we can look at your results and we can see why. Well, hey, if you humble yourself, man, you can see the wealth of information that I'm giving you right now. So you want the kids to be on the team, because the point of everything that I'm saying is that when leadership is strong in the home, in the nuclear family, when they go out into the world, they have a better chance of defending themselves from the strategic things that's out there that's meant to keep them down. When the home is strong, you can defend yourself out in the world. But if the home is weak, everybody in the world is believable. I'm going to look this way for a minute. Do you hear what I say? If the home is weak, everybody in the world is believable. Everybody in the world looks like an expert when you are mentally, emotionally unbalanced. Everybody looks like a giant. Everybody looks like they're somehow better than you, right? So you got to encourage teamwork. Number 4, you got to show appreciation. Regularly express gratitude and appreciation for one another. Regularly. And this was one of my big problems, because a lot of times I think things that I don't say. I'll think it, but I don't say it, right? And because I'm thinking it, and I'm thinking, oh, yesterday I was thinking about such and such person, and it's like, did you say it to him? No, I was just thinking it. And some men have a problem with, we have this thing inside of us that we don't say. You have to make it a point that to show appreciation. It's a part of leadership. It's a part of leadership. If the person in your group, sorry about that, in your group, in your family team, don't feel appreciated, it's going to cause a pulling away to find somebody who would give me what my heart is longing for. Have you ever heard of the story of a husband who has a beautiful wife at home, but then has an affair with the ugly secretary? Why? Because the secretary was showing appreciation to him that he wasn't getting at home. Now, I know I can get pushed back, be like, oh, well, he was probably just a cheater. I'm not saying he is or he's not. Now, understand, I've never done anything like that. I'm just using this as an analogy. I'm not jumping on one side or another. I don't teach, that whole woman-man dynamic. You're not gonna see that on this channel. I don't teach that. I don't A lot of these guys that teach that, I leave that to them because that's what they're feeling led to do. So I leave it to them. But it's like that's one of the ways that things get pulled away. You know, if my wife takes the time to dress herself, to get herself together, I need to quickly recognize in those moments to appreciate, to compliment her, to dote on her, to pour into her because she took time to do something for herself, right? Nobody gets made up just to continue to look at themselves in the mirror. You want acknowledgement. And many of us have been deceived simply because when you didn't get acknowledgement, you went somewhere and you went out and you just saying, okay, well, I'm just trying to make more money. I'm trying to get my hustle on. And then it's like, you know, then a MLM, a multi-level marketing thing come in. Oh man, you're awesome, dude. You're going to make it. Oh, I love, you know, and you just jumped into multi-level marketing simply because they showed you appreciation. Simply because of that. Have you ever noticed, like, you know, you look at Tony Robbins and different ones, you know, their stage show, everybody's, you know, the way that Tony Robbins claps and stuff like that. Like, he got his own style, you know what I'm saying? But the people feel a certain way. He deals in that whole psychology dynamic. And it's just people who are lacking appreciation for what they do. In reference to that, I mean, you look at a lot of the award shows, the red carpet shows, the Golden Globes, the Emmys, the Oscars, you know, why they're doing it? Because superstars need appreciation. So if these people that we're watching on TV, if they need it, how much more does that man need it? That woman need it? Those kids need it. There's many times that I didn't even know if my mom loved me because she didn't often say it. My dad in the beginning didn't often say it. So I wonder, you know, so whenever you don't show appreciation, you leave the mind to wonder. You leave it to wonder. Whenever you don't show appreciation, you leave the mind to wonder. And if you leave the mind to wonder, when they leave your house and go out into the world will sense that void and the world will try to fill it. The world will try to fill it. Most women cheated on their husband because the husband left the void in this woman open long enough and the world filled it. That's how it is. It's just how it is. Show appreciation. Men, get sensitive. Women, get strategic in your words. Women, get strategic in your words. If women talk way more than men can talk 100 words, men and women can talk 1,000. This ain't correct. I'm just giving an analogy. If that be the case, women, you need to be very strategic in your words. If you have a man that needs to feel a certain way, needs to see himself a certain way, strategic words will definitely strengthen your household. That man will give you everything if he believes that you see him better than the world does. Last and not least, I'm glad that you're hanging out with me. If you like it, you what I'm saying, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? If you got the point of what you need in the beginning, hey, you ain't got to watch the whole thing. Listen, I'm doing what I'm gifted to do, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't trying to hold up your time. Like and subscribe, you know. So glad that you're hanging around. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope I'm doing something to improve your life. Last but not least, number 5. You want to be adaptable. Family dynamics can change and challenges will arise. As a leader, it's essential for you to be flexible and open-minded. Let me read my notes again. Family dynamics can change. Challenges will arise. Family dynamics, what do that mean? That means that two people who wasn't previously married. The wife in her relationship had kids. The husband in his previous relationship had kids. These two meet, fall in love, decide to create a union in marriage, right? Family dynamic change. So the wife's kids has a different father, and the father's kids have a different mother. You got to be adaptable. You got to be adaptable. If you try to, as a man, which I experienced that, if I try to father somebody else's kid, trying to take the place of the biological dad, that's an automatic train wreck. Automatic train wreck. Automatic train wreck. Mixed families is an adaptable situation when it comes to leadership. It's a sensitive thing because it includes parties that's not even in the union. You divorced from her, she divorced from him, but you still got to include them because the kid. Okay, so I think it stopped on me. So this just the other half of it. So okay, when you got separate kids, I apologize for that. You got separate kids, a whole different dynamic. You got to adjust the way that you lead. Because if you have a child with another father other than myself or you, and you disrespect that man who laid down with this woman to have these kids, you put a disconnect inside the kid, which we go back to the original point. If a disconnect inside that kid, when they leave the house, the world is going to grab them. The thief is coming. But we don't want that. So you have to be open-minded. You have to, what I do in my approach is make sure that I don't bring my stepchild's father down in my stepson's eyes. Don't bring him down. Whether he do right or wrong, don't bring him down, because I'm not necessarily thinking about the stepfather. I'm thinking about my stepson, right? You got to be open-minded. You got to be adaptable, because the goal is strengthening the nuclear family, the middle-class nuclear family. You got to strengthen it, because if we have a strong household, when you go out into the world, you can see the thief, the liar, the deception coming from a mile away, because you're already filled in your home. Hey, I hope you got something out of this. I'm sorry that the video stopped, man. I got to put these things together, so I don't know how it's going to blend, So this is Working Class Rich. My name is Starsky the Berryless, and this is the platform where we're dealing with middle class insecurity. So if you like this, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next episode.